It's almost time to vote earlier than you think. Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS-inform. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Joining me in the studio is the Dubois County Clerk of the Courts, Bridgette Jarboe. Bridgette, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we've always talked about some of the early voting, but it comes up really quick. I think, first of all, we ought to talk about people need to get registered, then early voting will start.
Yes.
So let's talk about how do you know if you should be registered? How do you know if you are registered? What do you do?
There are a couple of ways, Bill. You are more than welcome to call our office at 812-481-7035. We will ask for your name, verify a date of birth, to make sure you are registered, and make sure we have the current registration for someone. They may also go to www.indianavoters.com, and they may check their registration that way as well. indianavoters.com, they can update a registration with an address change or a name change. If they call our office and they do have any changes, we will need to get them a registration form to be filled out to make changes.
Okay, and if you've moved in the past year, maybe you haven't voted for a couple of years and you've moved in between, let's hope you've voted, you really need to check to make sure that you are in the right township, so you're voting in the right places.
Correct. Because if you show up because your next door neighbor says, I vote at the National Guard Armory, but that's because you've just moved there within a year, and in the past you've been voting at the Huntingburg Event Center because you moved from Huntingburg to Jasper. You're going to have to go back to Huntingburg on election day to vote.
Unless you change yourself.
Unless you've changed yourself ahead of time. And all of our registration needs to be done by October 11th, which is a Tuesday.
Okay.
So State Election Division is closed on Monday, October 10th, which is our typical cutoff.
Okay.
So they have moved it to Tuesday, October 11th.
Okay.
All changes in our office need to be made by 4 p.m. They may do it if they are faxing anything in, they may do so, or any changes online, and those can be made up until 11:59 p.m.
On the 11th.
On the 11th.
Okay.
Anything after that does not get changed.
And not that you should delay doing it, and not that you should not change your registration, but if by some chance you don't get it changed, you still can vote. You just vote in a different, where you always have voted in the past.
Yes, you vote at your former precinct.
Okay.
And then
but get yourself changed so you're voting in the right precinct, because you want to vote for the right districts, you want to vote for the right school people, you want to vote for the right even representatives. It depends on where you are.
Exactly, because we do have a split just for our state representatives in Dubois County. 63rd is in the northern half and 74 for the bottom.
Okay, so again, to change your registration, locate your registration to make sure you're registered right, or to find out, is to call your office,
Yes.
stop by your office,
Yes.
or go to the website again.
indianavoters.com.
That's pretty easy, indianavoters.com.
Yes.
And check it there.
Yes.
And sometimes your registration may get changed when you go to the license branch. They might change that for you as well. Ask about that.
Yes,
Is that right?
you can. You can register to vote at our license branch, and you may make changes to your registration at the license branch, but just make sure you tell them it's a change and not a new registration.
Okay.
But we can update it through there with them as well. And with us talking about the last day to get registered, we will start our absentee voting on October 12th.
Okay.
So the 11th is the final day to make sure you are registered or make changes, and then right away on Wednesday, 8 o'clock in the morning, you may start voting in person absentee.
Let's talk about early voting.
Okay?
October 12th is early voting. That starts.
Absentee
Is
voting.
that the same for every state, or is it just in Indiana?
Indiana starts October 12th, and that will be the in-person absentee voting. If anyone is wanting to vote now by mail, two-step process, please call us. We will get you an application. You can find it at the Secretary of State's website for an application to vote by mail, and we will, once we receive your application and it's approved, then we mail you the ballot within 24-hour business hours.
Okay.
And if anyone has had one in the office previously, an absentee to vote by mail, your ballots will be in the mail, are in the mail.
Now, we do have the opportunity to do early voting. And will that start October 12th?
October 12th, absentee in-person voting starts.
And that's considered the early voting. But what if I just want to, I'm not going to be around November 8th, but I want to vote. You're going to offer me opportunities to vote ahead of time.
Yes.
Just like I would if it was November 8th.
Yes, sir. Okay. And we offer, the voting by mail is done with a paper ballot and the OptiScan card that will be brought back or mailed back to us. If you are voting absentee in person, you'll vote on a regular DRE, which is a direct record electronic machine.
Just like you vote on election day, that
Yes,
same
sir.
machine. Okay.
Yes. So we will vote on those machines, early vote or absentee voting in person. If someone also wants to vote by travel board, where they're not comfortable doing the mail-in and mail-out ballot, they also must fill out an application. We'll approve it. We will make arrangements to get the travel board to their home. However, we are bringing one of the electronic machines, and we will ask them to use an outlet, but we will let them vote on a machine as well, just as all of our other in-person absentee voters are doing.
Okay. And there is satellite voting that will be offered?
There is.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We will be.
Is that different? I mean, that's the same. You've done that every year.
We have. We are adding more satellite locations this year.
That's great.
Yes, with the changes that we have recently made for some of the voters and with the consolidations we've been doing with polling locations. So we are wanting to make sure we get out to those outlying areas, and we can let people know. Do have all of our information. It is on our website, duboiscountyIN.org, to check out where we will be and when we will be at all these locations.
Okay, we also have a link on our website and on the WBDC website to your website, if that's an easier way for folks to go to get right to that page to do that.
Yes, yes.
You mentioned that there's some slight changes in the polling places.
Yes.
Just a few, right? Not a whole lot.
The only changes we've made since the May primary. And we had a wonderful turnout in the May primary. 42% turnout for our county is wonderful when we have approximately 30,000 voters. We did tip that scale this year. So we know that there's going to be a lot of people coming in. We have moved Jefferson Township and Jackson Township. So Jefferson 1 and 2 and Jackson 1 and 2, we are all voting at the St. Anthony Community Center. Okay. Right in the middle of St. Anthony. It works great with our electronic poll pads, and it's more of a centralized location. Most people drive past there, going one way or another to work. So go ahead.
What will be the earliest opportunity somebody can vote by satellite voting?
Well, we will have our 2 Saturday votings in the courthouse, October 29th and then November 5th from 8 to 3 at our courthouse. Now, we've also added the Ferdinand Community Center, the Huntingburg Events Center, and the 35th Street Fire Station in Jasper on both of those Saturdays, October 29th and November 5th. However, those satellite locations for absentee in-person voting will be from 8 until noon.
Okay.
So, but there are 3 other options on those 2 days between 8 a.m. and noon to get out to vote.
Okay, so there's really no excuse not to vote. If you can't make it November 8th, no excuse not to vote early.
No, and then we also are going to have a traveling satellite board that will go out the week prior to the election. October 31st on Halloween will be our first day. We will be at St. Henry, and we will be at the St. Henry Fire Station from 10 until 6. Then on Tuesday, November 1st, we will be at the Birdseye Fire Station. We will be there from 10 until 6. On Wednesday, we are going into Schnellville, and we will be there at the Schnellville Fire Station from 10 until 6. And then on Thursday, we are going into Harbison Township, and we will be at the Hayesville Fire Station on Thursday from 10 until 6. Those 4 locations, we have moved their polling location from that small town. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, we want to make sure that those voters know we want to reach out to them and give them the opportunity. It is a week the week before. We are asking them to vote absentee, but it gives them an opportunity to still vote in their town, in their location for the election.
And you use the word absentee because it is absentee voting, but really it's just like voting on election day. You're going to walk into the building, you're going to sign your name,
You're going to
go
give
to
an
the
ID.
machine, you're just going to push the
Yes.
button, just like it's election day, only you're making it more convenient
Yes.
for them.
And
And election day, still vote then.
yes. Oh, by all means. And the other one, and I just remembered we added a fourth satellite location. I apologize. Both Saturdays, we will also be at the Dubois Library. Highly important this year for the Northeast Dubois area.
Yes.
And so we will be there. And then on Thursday, November 4th, and Friday, November 4th, and Saturday, November 5th, we are at the Dubois Library. Friday from 10 to 6, Saturday 8 until noon. So we have them covered as far as, and the complaint we had from people last year or in the spring, there was a 42% voter turnout, okay, overall. Most of them showed up on election day. If anyone wants to avoid any kind of a line, and it doesn't matter if you're signing an electronic poll book or a paper poll book, you're going to probably wait in line when 60% of the population that typically doesn't go out and vote is all showing up. So if they want to avoid any kind of a line, the week before, there's your opportunity to go in and vote. Peak hours on any election day, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 11 to 1, and then 3 and after, 3 to 6. Those are going to be your peak hours. If you can go somewhere in between,
Great.
most locations did not have any kind of a waiting. Also with our consolidation or moving some of these polling locations and centralizing them, we'll be able to put a few more poll pads at the other locations to help alleviate some lines.
Well, I've always found that when people tend to go at those times when there is lines, they just socialize. It's a good opportunity to talk to your friends and neighbors you don't normally get to see except
Yes,
election day.
as
So
long as we're
make
not-
the best of it, really.
Yes, exactly. As long as they're not talking about the election or any
Yeah,
politics,
yeah, that's right.
we can't have that. But we do. We're trying to make it as convenient for folks to vote. And I understand some of them firmly believe in their heart of hearts that Election Day is the day they need to make their decisions. We respect that. That's not going to go away. We just want to make sure they're aware of we know when it's congested. We can monitor this. And then we also want, though, if they have the opportunity and they know ahead of time, a lot of people have very firm convictions on this year's election. So if they know ahead of time and want to avoid lines, get it done the week before or the 12th. Start on the 12th.
Obviously, you're giving plenty of opportunity. Really no excuse. Because you've given us plenty of opportunities, plenty of places to go and vote. Let me ask you this. If I live in, say, Jackson Township, but I can be in St. Henry on that day that you're at St. Henry,
Yes.
can I vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will get the choice of, doesn't matter what township, I can vote in Jasper, I can vote anywhere.
Anytime we are voting between October 12th and November 7th.
Okay, on those satellite absentee.
Any
okay.
early vote, any absentee in-person voting done between October 12th and November 7th. You can live anywhere in the county and vote wherever we have a location open.
Excellent.
On election day, though, that is precinct specific, and you must go to a location. So on election day, that's the day that you have to go to one of the 10 locations that we are offering for voting.
Okay, and you can always call your office
Yes.
if you question or wonder about where you can vote, when to vote, or go to the website, which
Yes.
makes it easy. You'll
Yes.
find the information there.
Yes, yes. And again, and those that don't have the website, please call us, 812-481-7035. One of the ladies will answer. We'll find out. We will be sure to know where they are, make sure they are registered, walk them through anything that they'd like help with.
Great. Bridgette, thank you very much for coming
Thanks
in.
for having me in again.
Now remember, you need to vote, and make sure you do so because Bridgette's giving you every opportunity to vote, different ways, different places. So please make sure you vote. The election day is coming up November 8th, but early voting can start October 12th. Make sure you are registered between now and then as well.
October 11th 4 o'clock in the office, 11:59 online or by fax.
All right. Thank you very much, Bridgette. Thank you for watching WJTS. We are local people watching local people.